Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to go over the best techniques that'll help you get unstuck when you get stuck studying. Let's go. So let me ask you something. Have you ever gotten stuck while studying? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't understand what's in front of you. You feel like a kitten that's trying to comprehend space travel. Of course you have, right? I know I did while I was in school. I'd get stuck almost every other day. So the question is, what do you do in those situations? How do you get yourself unstuck? That's what this video is all about. So when I would get stuck, which was pretty often, these are the techniques and resources that I would use to help me get unstuck. I like to call them your lifelines. But before we get into this list, the very first thing you must remember every time you get stuck, every time you hit that wall, right, is to not let it discourage you. You must remember, you have to expect that learning is a process, right? And getting stuck is a part of that process. So you have to expect it to happen pretty often. So always remember that the pathway to you getting unstuck, to you learning what you need to learn, exists somewhere. You just have to find it. So let's get into the 8 techniques and resources that I would use when I would get stuck studying. So the order of this list is kind of the order I would go through as I got stuck. So if one didn't work, I would just go right into the next one, right? So let's jump in to number 1, lifeline number 1, YouTube. YouTube has quickly established itself as a go-to resource for learning basically anything, right? You've probably heard the term University of YouTube. It's for good reason. Whenever I want to learn something, it's basically become automatic for me to just look it up on YouTube because chances are really good that someone somewhere has uploaded a great video explaining exactly what I need to know. And usually there's several to choose from. Which is why when I would get stuck studying, YouTube was always my first stop because it offered the fastest route to me getting unstuck, especially in the first couple years of your degree. So when it comes to engineering and STEM school, there are so many channels and videos and lectures that are all on YouTube, right? All describing basically every topic that you're going to learn throughout school. And when I was in school, Khan Academy was kind of my go-to resource for everything math, everything basic science, and even now he's uploading new videos every day. So if you don't know who Khan Academy is, I definitely recommend checking that one out. Lifeline 2, work backwards. So oftentimes when you get stuck studying, it can be a simple matter of just retracing your steps until you find something you missed, right? And then working forward again slowly. And with the material that you'll be studying, it can be so easy to miss small little details, which then compound as you move forward, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would get stuck studying when all I needed to do was turn back a few pages and start over. Sometimes several times. So when you go back and retrace your steps, more often than not, you're going to find something that you missed. And that might be the puzzle piece you need to get yourself unstuck. I know this technique sounds super simple, but the best techniques usually are. Lifeline 3, your classmates. Your fellow classmates can be incredibly valuable when it comes to helping you understand something. So when you get stuck, text your study group. Chances are good that one of them understands what's going on and can explain it to you in a way that you'll understand. And if you don't have a study group, I highly recommend fixing that problem. Get to know as many classmates, make as many friends as you possibly can. Every new contact you make represents a new potential pathway to you getting unstuck. And not only can a study group really help you in your time of need, but they also serve as a great way to hold you accountable and keep you on track. All ships rise with the tide sort of thing. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. And if you like this stuff and you're looking for more, studying advice and really everything else you'll need to be successful in an engineering or any other STEM degree, be sure to check out my book. It's available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. It's helping out a ton of students and getting really great reviews so far. So be sure to check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for the support. Lifeline number 4, professor and TA. This one may seem a bit obvious, but it always surprises me how infrequently students utilize their professors and TAs. Never, ever forget that you are the customer and they are paid to help you understand what's going on. So never, ever hesitate to utilize them. So take advantage of your professor's office hours. And if you can't make their office hours, call them, text them, email them, right? Contact them in any way you can. Ask questions in class. Utilize your professors. I mean, when I was in grad school, I went to my professor's office hours probably every other day and probably emailed them every day with questions. The main point I want to make here is don't be intimidated by your professors, right? You must be your own advocate in these situations. So they have all the answers you need. They have the understanding that you want. Keep bugging them, keep contacting them until you get the information and understanding that you need. So the last point I want to make here on this one is, as you ask more questions and go to more office hours and just spend more time with your professors, they will develop more of a vested interest in your success, which can really pay off big time in the long run. Lifeline 5, solution-based online tools. I'm sure most of you watching this video have heard of services like Chegg, Wolfram Alpha, and more recently, ChatGPT. The popularity of these kind of tools has exploded in recent years, and it's not hard to see why. They're extremely powerful.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
These tools can be really helpful when you get stuck studying or stuck doing homework, because seeing how a problem is fully worked out can really help aid in your understanding. But you must be really careful. These tools are a bit of a double-edged sword because, Chegg, Wolfram Alpha, ChatGPT, they're so powerful, it's easy to kind of let them do your work for you. So you got to be really careful because that behavior will bite you in the butt come exam time. If you neglect what you're responsible for learning and kind of let Chegg and, ChatGPT do your work for you, you're not only cheating yourself, but you're cheating all the users of your engineering in the future. So make sure you use these tools as they were intended, and that's to enhance your learning, not to replace it. Lifeline number 6, tutors. I think there might be a little bit of a negative stigma when it comes to tutors, right? Like, you're not very smart, so you need a tutor. You're giving up, or you're not trying hard enough, so you need a tutor. We got to get rid of that mindset right now. Tutors can be fantastic. They're never a bad idea, right? Just like, if you're trying to get in shape physically, you go get a personal trainer. Just like if you're trying to get your mind in shape, you're trying to do well in school, a tutor is a great idea. And odds are really good that your school offers free tutoring, especially for math. And if you're lucky, they'll offer tutoring for your specific degree. During the first years of my undergrad, I was in the tutoring center like every day. So there's no shame in just camping out in the tutoring center and having them help you do your homework. It's a free resource. Well, it's included in your tuition, so don't hesitate to take advantage of it. Another option is private tutoring, right? Especially if you're looking for more of a one-on-one experience. A quick Google search or Craigslist should provide quite a few tutors in your area. Another option is a website called Varsity Tutors. It's basically the Uber of tutoring, right? So they'll hook you up with somebody who has expertise in your area and you can kind of connect with them. One thing to keep in mind though is private tutoring should, it'll be a little bit of money. It'd be like $20 to $50 an hour. But if it helps you get the understanding you want, that's money well spent. Lifeline number 7, take a break. It can feel a little bit counterproductive to take a break when you're studying, especially when you're facing a deadline. But trust me, taking a good solid 10 to 15 minute break might be the most productive thing you can do. Let me explain. This graph represents your ability to productively concentrate over time. And if you continue to concentrate and study nonstop, no matter who you are, at some point your productivity will drop, basically to zero. So if you try to continue to study, continue to force it, after that point, it's basically a waste of time. But what if right here, right as you started to lose your ability to concentrate, you stopped studying and you took a break? Science shows that after a short 10 to 15 minute break, your ability to productively concentrate basically recovers to 100%. So instead of a graph looking like this, where your productivity drops down to zero, you get a graph looking like this. So notice after each break, your ability to concentrate basically recovers to full strength. So you should never ever feel guilty about taking a break, because at some point, it's going to be the most productive thing you can do. And last but not least, lifeline number 8, take a power nap. So energy is required for you to be productive, right? And what's the best way to get energy? I'm talking about sleep, and more specifically a power nap. So, when all else fails and you're nodding off and your homework starts looking like an alien language, a quick 15 to 25 minute power nap can do wonders for your ability to concentrate. When I was in school and I was really in the thick of it, I would often get to the point and when studying where I just knew I needed to sleep. No amount of caffeine or stimulant was going to help. So I'd close my books, I'd go upstairs, I'd set my alarm for 20 minutes and I'd just pass out. Then I'd wake up, have a hot cup of coffee, and I'd be good to go for the rest of the night. So now it's important to distinguish between a power nap and just a regular nap, right? You don't want to let yourself go for 1 to 2 hours because then you'll wake up feeling more groggy and more sleepy than you did going down. So you want to make sure you set your alarm for 20-ish minutes. That's the sweet spot. That's a power nap. That'll leave you feeling more energized when you wake up. Because by capping it at like 20-ish minutes, you will avoid going into those deeper realms of sleep, right? And therefore you'll avoid the groggy feeling when you wake up. So you're gonna get stuck studying, right? It's inevitable. It happens to everybody, and it's probably gonna happen to you more often than you like. You're gonna hit that wall, right? The question is, how do you respond? Are you gonna let it discourage you and drain your motivation? Or are you gonna buckle down and start moving through your lifelines until you find the pathway to your understanding? You should try to think of studying like a video game, right? In a video game, you expect obstacles, you expect challenges, you expect to get stuck. And when you finally beat the game, that's what makes it so fulfilling. So you should think of studying the same way, right? Expect to get stuck, expect obstacles. And when you hit these, you don't get discouraged, you just start systematically moving down your list of lifelines until you find what works. And so again, you just always have to remember that the pathway to your understanding always exists, right? You just have to find it. But what about you guys? What do you do when you get stuck studying? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. But that's it for now. I hope you found that helpful. So thanks for watching and keep up the good work.